Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sahabat Taqwa channel rahimakumullah. Berikut ini adalah cuplikan video dari negeri Inggris. Yuk kita simak bersama-sama untuk menambah wawasan kita.
In this video, I will present how Islam can grow rapidly in the United Kingdom and the reasons why a female YouTuber chose to convert to Islam. The number of British citizens who have converted to Islam has reached a new record, namely more than 100,000 people. The Daily Mail reports that white women are the most likely to convert to Islam. 10 years ago, the number of British citizens who converted to Islam was 50,000 people. The study appeared in a report by Faith Matters, a multi-faith organization. The report suggests that new converts to Islam consider their faith to be compatible with life in Britain. Converts generally do not view British citizens as hostile to Islam, the report said. According to the report, around 5,200 people converted to Islam in the last year, and 1,400 of them lived in London. Nearly 2/3 of converts are women, 70% of whom are white, and the average age is 27 years. Converts answered that in their view the negative aspects were alcohol and drinking, lack of morality and sexual permissiveness, and unbridled consumerism. Many converts worry that immoral behavior will become normal as society becomes increasingly irreligious. 9 out of 10 female converts to Islam say their religion now leads them to dress more conservatively. More than half started wearing a headscarf and 5% said they had worn a burqa. More than half also admitted that they experienced difficulties after embracing Islam because of negative attitudes from their families. One person who is now converted to Islam is Lynn Ali, 31, a former disc jockey. At the age of 19, he converted to Islam and said he was happy to have found a way out of his previous life. I went to my old friend's 21st birthday party. When I entered the bar, I was wearing a hijab while everyone else was scantily dressed. They were drunk, saying random things and dancing provocatively. For the first time, from someone else's perspective, I can see the life I used to have. I know for sure I will never go back to anything like that. I am very happy to have found a way to escape. This is the real me. I am happy to be able to pray 5 times a day and study at the mosque. I am now not a slave to a chaotic society. Hundreds of mosques across England have taken the initiative to open their doors to non-Muslim British citizens as a step to combat misconceptions about the Muslim community. Participants who attended were served tea and South Asian cakes, and a mosque tour was held, and participants were explained about Muslim worship. The number of mosques taking part in this year's event is almost double that in 2016, when there were only 82 mosques. In the UK, attacks on Muslims increased alongside other xenophobic attacks, following the Brexit vote. This should be advertised throughout the country to ensure that everyone understands that Muslims are not a violent religious group, he said. The number of Muslims in England is around 5% of the total population, or just under 3 million people. Significant numbers were seen in city centers. The Muslim population in England is increasing. This cannot be separated from the good relations that have existed between British leaders and Muslim figures and British citizens who are Muslim in the last few decades. This can be seen from the support and openness of the British government and leaders when there are Islamic festivals celebrated by Muslims in England. Even now, many Muslims in England are taking a role in Britain's development by holding a number of important positions in government. Their actions also received a positive response from British citizens. Apart from that, Muslims received good attention from the British government from city to central level. This can be seen from the easier it is for Muslims to build mosques. In fact, the phenomenon of rapid growth and development of Islam does not only occur in England, but also occurs in European countries in general. It is true, It is in England that there is a growth and development of Islam that is much more rapid than the growth and development of Islam in other European countries. It is necessary to trace its historical origins. Why is Islam so closely related to the lives of scholars, scientists, society, and the British government compared to other European countries? This story of finding guidance comes from a British YouTuber and travel enthusiast named Ellie Quinn. Over the past 10 years, Ellie has traveled to various corners of the world. However, she experienced love at first sight with an Islamic country, which eventually led her to convert to Islam on August 23, 2020. Ellie shares her conversion journey on her YouTube channel. The British woman never expected that her travels would bring about such a significant change in her life. In 2004 and 2005, Ellie recalled visiting Cappadocia, Bosnia, and Indonesia. It was there she first heard the call to prayer, Adhan, and fell in love with it, feeling a deep sense of calling to visit the mosque. Growing up in England, Ellie encountered much negative news and opinions about Muslims. The rise of Islamophobia further clouded her perception of Islam. As a child, Ellie was baptized and actively attended church with her father. However, she did not follow Christian teachings closely and did not study religion further as she grew older. Ellie then became occupied with her travels around the world and stopped thinking about religion. However, everything changed when Ellie visited Pakistan in October 2019. There, Ellie and her friend visited Faisal Mosque on a Friday. They did not know that Muslims perform communal Friday prayers on this day. When they entered the mosque, Ellie was separated from her male friend and taken to the upper floor. Initially confused by the sudden influx of Muslim men entering the mosque, Ellie saw her friend below and learned about the Friday prayers. Ellie and her friend watched the men perform the prayers, and Ellie felt something strange in her heart. She was amazed to see the communal prayer in person, something she had never witnessed before. This experience inspired Ellie to continue her travels to other Islamic countries. After Pakistan, Ellie visited Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She admitted feeling nervous due to negative perceptions about the country. However, her curiosity outweighed her nervousness. Her decision proved to be right, as Ellie was amazed by the sight of cafes and shops closing for prayer time at the mosque. They do this 5 times a day, and it's incredible. This truly opened my eyes to Islam, said Ellie. She then traveled to Medina, where she wondered why she felt compelled to visit the city. She realized it was all part of Allah's plan. Ellie's views on Islam completely changed after visiting Medina. The British YouTuber was determined to deepen her understanding of Islam. In Medina, Ellie used her time wisely to study Islamic history and observe Muslims performing communal prayers at Masjid Nabawi. It was all very soothing for my heart, said Ellie. In March 2020, after her trip to Saudi Arabia, Ellie continued her journey to India. She was unaware that India has a large Muslim population, as she only knew about Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. Ellie and her group visited Akbar's tomb in Agra, where their guide asked if they knew the meaning of Akbar. Ellie and her friends did not know. When they learned that Akbar is derived from Allahu Akbar, meaning God is the greatest, which Muslims frequently say, Ellie felt a push in her heart, and everything she had thought about Islam made sense. This small piece of knowledge had a significant impact on Ellie. At her accommodation, she downloaded the Quran on her phone and searched for videos on how to perform prayers. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck, Ellie left India and decided to quarantine in Gili, Indonesia. During her 4 months there, she was increasingly guided towards Islam, partly because her accommodation was opposite a mosque. Various signs led Ellie to seek out educational videos on YouTube about Islamic laws, hijab rules, the role of women in Islam, and more. She even enrolled in the Yaqeen Institute, where she received daily videos about Islam for 30 days. Ellie meticulously documented all the new knowledge in a journal. As Ramadan approached, Ellie initially doubted her ability to fast, considering she was still learning and her prayers were not yet perfect. but her heart convinced her that fasting would be a valuable experience in becoming a Muslim. Ellie fasted from food but not from water, feeling she was not yet capable of a full fast. Through this, she understood why her Muslim friends loved Ramadan, as she felt the same way. During the month, she felt peaceful and comfortable. Ramadan motivated Ellie to perfect her prayers, continually improving her recitation of Al-Fatiha and reading the Quran daily until she completed it. Upon returning from Indonesia, Ellie felt more certain about converting to Islam and saying the Shahada. However, she still had some doubts. I was afraid I was just influenced by the Islamic environment in Indonesia. I also doubted whether I could follow and apply all Islamic teachings in my daily life, Ellie confessed. But back in England, Ellie resolved to change her mindset. Unconsciously, she had already been practicing Islamic teachings while traveling in Islamic countries. Ellie read a book that reassured her of her path, titled Reclaim Your Heart. After finishing the book, she felt confident and her desire to embrace the religion of peace grew stronger. On August 23, 2020, Ellie recited the Shahada and performed her first communal prayer at the London Central Mosque. MashaAllah, truly the power of Allah is great. No one knows when and where Allah will guide us to the truth. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video. Wassalam.
Masya Allah, tabarakallah. Benar-benar sangat menginspirasi sekali ya. Semoga cuplikan video tadi dapat menambah ketakwaan kita dan keimanan kita dalam beragama menuju ketakwaan kita kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.